Mediocre. That was how Winston Lloyd described my writing. Nothing more than mediocre. He hadn't always thought that way, though. There was even a time when Winston, one of the country's most respected book editors, took a keen interest in my work. A year ago, I was almost certain that Winston was going to take me on and publish my first mystery novel. Then he used words like fresh and sensational to describe me. Then Jack Riggs came along. Almost overnight, I went from fresh and sensational to mediocre. And it was all because of Jack Riggs. Since then, I'd come to know Jack Riggs very well, be it only from a distance. Some might call it obsession. I called it research. I studied his every move for almost a year. I know, Daddy, but...
He's a short, a balding and very overweight little man, Laura. He shouldn't be the country's #1 mystery writer. He should be standing by a highway somewhere, holding a stop-and-go sign.
I know, Daddy. I know.
What have I always taught you, Laura?
Never give up.
And?
And success. At any cost.
Right. That's my girl. You want to be the country's #1 best-selling mystery writer. And Jack Riggs has what you want. So, what are you waiting for?
I did eventually get my first novel published by one of the smaller publishing houses. It went on to sell about 1,000 copies, but no talk shows, no book signings, and no film rights. These things were all reserved for the great Jack Riggs. There wasn't enough room for 2 best-selling authors. A young writer by the name of Tom Page had come close to knocking Jack off his #1 perch. But at the height of Tom's popularity, he just packed up and moved to Norfolk Island. I always thought it strange that Tom should leave just before he was about to make it big. I suspect he was scared of success. It happens, you know. It would never happen to me, though. Hi, I'm Laura Hart. My father said you could help me. Discreetly.
Oh, yes. Hello. I think I might have just what you need.
What about that one? I wanted success. I yearned for it. And like my father had always drummed into me, I would have success. At any cost.
Careful, miss, it's very sharp.
Well, it is a knife, isn't it? There was only one thing standing between me and the bestseller list, and that was Jack Riggs. I would kill for the kind of success that Jack Riggs enjoyed. In fact, I had planned to. I'll take it. I've rented a little cottage in the village.
He's there?
He's here, on his annual 2-week vacation. I'll lay low in town for a few days before I head up to his cabin. No one in town will recognise me.
See, there are some perks to not being famous. And lucky for you, you've got one of those blend into a crowd faces.
Exactly. Then one night I'll appear on his doorstep, the damsel in distress with car trouble.
Not terribly original, darling, but it'll do.
Then, after he takes me in, I'll stab him with one swift blow to the back.
Then you'll resume your life and rightfully take the now vacant spot as the country's new #1 mystery writer.
Perfect. The village was beautiful. I took an instant liking to it. And I had to hand it to Jack. He did have good taste. The peace and the solitude. Funny how the peace and isolation that Jack Riggs craved would ironically be the death of him. There would be no one to hear him scream for help. No one to find his dead body.
Not from round here, are you, love?
No. Actually, I'm just heading up north on my way through. It's such a pretty little town. I decided to stay for a few hours. But I'll be leaving this afternoon.
I knew these small town types. Didn't miss a trick. If I could get this woman to believe that I would be gone by sundown, there would be no need to mention me to the police when they inevitably came snooping around for a murder suspect.
Well, that's a shame. Lord knows we need more tourists around here. If it weren't for Mr. Riggs, we'd be in a real bind.
Mr. Riggs?
Yeah, Jack Riggs. A mystery writer?
Oh, I'm not one for reading, I'm afraid.
Well, we're very proud of him. He's the country's #1 mystery writer.
Is that right?
Yeah. Not only is he famous, he's generous as well. He donates an awful lot of his money to the Chamber of Commerce to get things done around here. Darling man. Real saint.
I had to get out of there before I gagged. Jack Riggs was nothing more than an eccentric old man who deliberately stole the limelight from more worthy young writers, namely me. I had spent the last year of my life hating him, watching him, plotting to eliminate him. If I began to see him as more of a human being, a nice guy, I didn't trust myself to go through with it. And I had to go through with it. I parked my car in an old unused lane that I'd found on a walk the day before. It was just a short walk to Jack's cabin. I knew when the time came I could indeed kill Jack Riggs. I wasn't a natural-born killer, just very, very ambitious. Damn it!
Hi. Sorry about that. I don't mean to bother you, but my car just broke down. Can I use your phone?
Please don't be nice. Please don't be nice. Be rude, awful, downright mean. The moment he smiled, something inside of me melted. Probably my killer instinct.
My dear girl, you must be freezing out here. Come in and warm yourself. What an awful night to break down.
Thank you.
So what brings you out this way, my dear? Mine is the last house on this lane. Can I get you a warm drink, a cup of tea perhaps? I think I have a little hot chocolate.
No, thank you. I'm fine. I guess I just got lost on the country roads.
Do I know you, my dear? You look awfully familiar.
I do? No, I don't think we've ever met.
He couldn't possibly know who I was. The great Jack Riggs wouldn't have a clue who
Laura Hart.
Laura Hart was.
Aren't you?
You know me?
Know you? I have your first novel. When Night Falls. I loved it.
You have my novel. I don't believe it.
Yes. I'm Jack Riggs. But I suspect you already knew that, Laura. You see, I know why you're here. I know why all you young writers come out to see me.
You do?
Of course. You're here to get some writing tips from the great Jack Riggs.
Oh yes. Oh yes, of course.
Car broken down. Honestly, my dear, not very original. You see,
He really had thrown a spanner into the works. My perfect plan had not included Jack Riggs even knowing who I was, let alone being a fan. Now he knows my identity. What if I don't kill him instantly and he scribes my initials onto the floor in his own blood?
To pick it up.
What if I get back to the car and find it stolen? I'd have to go to the police and explain what I was doing, wandering the woods at night in the vicinity of a dead body. What if I flee without the car? It will eventually turn up somewhere nearby and then the cops will check the plates and trace it back to...
Laura, are you all right? You look awfully nervous.
You know, I think I will have that cup of tea.
Do you take milk?
Yes, please.
Good. I'll be right back.
I can't do it. If I'm having all these thoughts now, what will I be like if I actually do kill him? I'll be a good-for-nothing basket case. He loved my first novel. Jack Riggs loved it. And he's bound to have a lot of influence over Winston Lloyd. Yes, with Jack Riggs in my corner, there really would be no telling how far my writing career could go.
You know, you're right, Jack. I am indeed here to steal some writing tips from you.
I knew it.
That's good.
The relief was incredible. I had figured out a way to further my career without a body count.
Well, I'm always happy to share my thoughts with fellow writers. We should stick together rather than try and bring each other down, wouldn't you agree?
Yes. There's far too much competition these days between writers.
I think you would like to hear a few of my ideas on my new novel. Are you all right, dear?
Why are you? Swaying back, forth.
A year later, and no one had seen hide nor hair of Laura Hart. The rumour circulating was that she'd packed up and moved to Norfolk Island, of all places. On the bookshelves across the country sat my new bestseller. It was about an eccentric old best-selling author who murdered his young, up-and-coming competition.
Thank you so much, Mr. Riggs.
You're welcome, my dear.
How on earth did you come up with the idea?
Oh, it just came to me one dark and foggy night.
However you thought of it, Jack, it's gold. Pure gold.